All right, it is Friday again, and we're here with Director of Schools, Dr. Donna Wright, for our end-of-week chat on another week that comes to a close, and we say it every week, but they just seem to march by very, very quickly.
It's been fast.
It's been fast. The big news coming down this week is the fact that our students are not in school today. So a decision came down earlier this week, and just inform our families and those interested why that decision was made and why we felt that was the best interest of the district to keep students out of our buildings today.
Well, it's one of those decisions, Bart, that we really don't want to make. But when it comes down to when we start looking at our numbers, and it's staffing numbers, whether it's teachers, support personnel, which could be our educational assistants, whomever. But when we get to a critical point that we see a number by individual school, but across the district that we cannot even support with substitutes, then we have to make the decision that where's the greater benefit. And and we kept looking Monday, Tuesday. We were even projecting from the previous Friday, looking where we might end up. And we knew by Tuesday afternoon we just could not cover our classes. And so we made the decision that we would students would not be in school that day, but also not hold them responsible as far as that we would try to make a remote learning day out of it, particularly going into the holiday the following week. And so with it, teachers that are able to be here today are going through professional development that's an extension of some previous, but also will help them when we get into January, where again it's an extension of continued learning, particularly looking at remote, continuing to focus and perfecting synchronous and asynchronous learning opportunities. So our teachers are taking advantage today, and we'll be able to archive it for those that are not able to be with us today. And again, the numbers being what they are, that I just want to remind our parents that if we're just looking at COVID related, today's numbers alone, we have 79 or 80 teachers that are out, and a little over 31 classified or support personnel that are out with just COVID.
Right.
Total today, and this is with no students, there's 181 staff personnel out today because of various reasons, but just the COVID numbers alone are alarming. And so that's the reasoning behind the decision making. And again, maybe it's an overabundance of caution, but we have to look at the ramifications. If we can't staff the classroom, we've got to look at where's the benefit and the risk for trying to either cover classes, and if we can't get substitutes in, we have to make that decision.
There were some questions that came out because the notice went out Wednesday about no school today, that the projection that of inability to staff sufficiently, and you just touched on that. See, the COVID aspect was one part of it, but also you have unrelated illnesses that we knew some other staff members had been sick this week that had nothing to do with COVID, and it projected that they would probably be out on Friday as well. Also, I know you and I have talked about it too, sometimes we have staff that have doctor's appointments that they've scheduled long in advance, and we're not going to say cancel those appointments or anything. We want to honor those. So all these factors combined led to that decision,
including maternity leave.
And maternity leave. We got babies are being born.
Babies are being born, and we had a number that were going out on maternity leave, and so again, there's so many factors. But
people forget how many people this district, I believe, employs. And
we're the largest employer in Wilson County and the 25th largest in Middle Tennessee.
Right.
So
not to put you on the spot, but how many overall total employees are we talking about when it comes to certified, to certified and support staff in our schools?
A little over 2,500 individuals with 24 campuses that we support. And that's the other thing that sometimes in just talking to parents and everyone feels their school is the world.
Right, sure, absolutely.
And the thing is that we have to look at how we really cover, as I said, 24 campuses, and then we really 25 buildings, but 24 campuses that we have to make sure that not only dispersion as far as where we need to put support, but also to make sure that no one's put in a position that they cannot adequately cover classes. And it doesn't matter if they're 18 years old seniors, we have to make sure that there's coverage in every classroom.
Obviously, rumor mill gets churning whenever there's a
Yeah.
school day that gets canceled and those sorts of things. And I know you're kind of getting some chatter on this, and I know I have as well. I fielded some calls that there's this automatic assumption that people think that from people, some concerns that it's just everything's just going to totally shut down after Thanksgiving. Now you have said from day one, and we can go back and dig up more videos to show evidence of that. The last thing that we want to do is go to a district-wide shutdown remote. The last thing. So that's only, that comes from one side of it, but it's going to take all of us, to make sure that we can do that. And just kind of to go into more discussion on that, because I know it's something that is talked about often, if it be it meetings, board meetings, emails, calls that you field, those sorts of things. But where your stance on that when it comes to district-wide remote, right? Especially coming back from Thanksgiving.
Well, I've already been called out because I've been told that they know for a fact, whoever they might be, that we are going to make the announcement that we're going to move to remote or virtual learning for the remaining 3 weeks before the holidays. Well, they know something that I don't know, because I have said, just as you've repeated, that's the last thing that we want to do. That I refer to almost as an emergency situation, when we know that we cannot safely meet in our classrooms.
Right.
And I'm not going to say that it won't happen, but we have to really be looking at it as far as that we have exhausted every other avenue. And if we may have to make the determination that we simply cannot, and this is across the district, we've already had 3 schools that have moved into remote, 4, and we've done that individually because we could make that determination. But to shut the entire district down and move to a remote platform, it's the last thing we want to do. And
let's be very, very clear. Dr. Wright is not saying that is absolutely not going to happen, and she's not saying that it is going to happen. In the language that we've talked about several times, the phrasing is that we don't know what situation will present itself following Thanksgiving break. We have to be prepared for anything, but to think there is a preconceived plan that's exactly what's going to happen, that is false. We will look at things following Thanksgiving break. So we don't want people to say, "Oh, you said, we weren't going to do this, or we were," but
and not to confuse, because I know what also comes into this, that if anyone's paying attention to, particularly the evening news, and they start making the announcements as far as this district has made the determination that following Thanksgiving, that they will remain on virtual for the remainder of the year. And so the calls start coming in here because they might not have heard the district,
right?
But is this going to impact Wilson County?
Right.
And so, we're always going to announce, we're always going to make, as far as getting information out with the reason why. But please, just because you've heard this district or that district, that's not, rolling over to us.
And if a decision is made on any kind of teaching and learning plans, some of you do not like to hear my voice when I say things. I'm just the messenger. But you will be notified promptly, and you will know in plenty of time, and you will know as things happen. So we just want to provide reassurance.
We monitor every single day. We look back, we look forward, and I don't say that we have something that's really perfected, because part of it, and I'll just say it, there's prayer that goes into this, that please do not let us see what we are thinking might occur based on looking at trends. And this week's not been good.
But Dr. Wright, just the importance of people making those responsible arrangements for Thanksgiving.
Well, and something that when we're looking at this week coming up, as a school system, we already had blocked this coming week out, Thanksgiving week, that we would be out of school. I'm very thankful for that right now.
Sure.
Very thankful. Because part of it being that looking at not only resting, decompressing, however you want to frame it, it's necessary not only for our employees, but also for our children. There's stress there. there's fatigue there, all those things. But with that, I cannot express that we need to continue the precautions. And it's going to be hard because so many families look at this, not only the Thanksgiving tradition, but it is about family. But this is one time that we need to think about it, how we need to protect everyone in our family. It'll be different this year. Let's get through this year and hope that we don't see this going into 2021. I'm hopeful for that. And so I would urge that Thanksgiving's going to be different for my family as well. And it hurts some feelings, but they will get over it. I'll make up for it later.
Hurts some feelings in our families.
So I mean, but again, it's just about being
right.
Vigilant. And I think the greater risk is not taking these precautions and suffering for it.
Sure.
So I urge families, I urge our students know the protocols, they know the procedures.
Yes.
And so, we sent them off as far as make sure you've got a week. Be careful.
Well, we would say happy Thanksgiving week to all our families. And along those lines, we're going to close things out with, you've probably seen this public service announcement that we produced a little bit earlier this fall. And just a reminder that it's going to take all of us to hopefully land to a place that we want to get to sooner, much rather than later. And that's to have everyone in our schools at all times. And there's no crystal ball or there's no clock or calendar to say that's the day it's going to happen, but we do know if we do the right things, then we have a good shot to get there. Dr. Wright, thank you as always for the time, and I hope you and your family have a wonderful Thanksgiving, whatever that Thanksgiving looks like. I know for many it's tapered this year in these wacky circumstances, but sacrifices. Many are making sacrifices to try to do the right things so we can get through this, and but we just hope everyone stays safe and healthy.
Be thankful, be grateful. It could be far worse.
Absolutely. Dr. Wright, thank you again for the time.
Thank you.